Alrighty. So, quick review of the week so far. Just a quick little review of the week. Because you know what we're doing tomorrow? Quiz. Test is too scary of a word. So we call it quiz. Because all it really is just a review of the week. So Monday, what did we do on... sorry. What did we do last Thursday? Do we recall what we did last Thursday? Adding and subtracting. Adding whole numbers, yes, that's what we were doing. Subtracting whole numbers, yes, that's what we were doing. Oh yeah, what was the key component of adding and subtracting? What is it that we learned? The key words, that's the important thing to take away from everything. The key word for adding was sum. The key word for subtracting was... difference. And then came Monday. What did we do on Monday? Multiply. What was the key word for multiplying? Product. And yesterday we did division, right? And what was the key word? Say it. Say it. You're not going to call it quote, you're going to call it quotient. Quotient, am I right? Quotient. Now, I don't think today, let me see, these might come into play, yes, on today's practice problems, today's word problems, but not too much. I don't think there's much questions that say, what is the quotient of Mr. Solano's whatever, the marker example that I've been using for the longest time now, right? You might not deal with that too much today, but this is important to know, for tomorrow, because again, what are we doing tomorrow? Quiz. Every Thursday will be a quiz. Cool. So, now that that's out of the way, we've learned now how to add by hand. We've learned now how to subtract by hand. The only thing you got to worry about though on adding is carrying over, right? The trick with subtraction was borrowing, right? Multiplying, the only trick thing with that one was don't forget to add the zeros. When you do move on to a new number, 1 times 3 was 3. 1 times 4 was 4. If we move on to this 2 now and try to multiply it outwards, those are arrows by the way, you mustn't forget to add that 0. And now you could multiply it out. What's 2 times 3? What's 4 times 2? Now you add, right? We all got that? So the trick with multiplying is don't forget to add that 0 if you ever move on to that second digit. And then division, obviously. What's the trick that we learned yesterday with division? Well, division is actually it's just a trick all around. It's one of the ones that people just always forget, the pattern on what to do. What's a good example from yesterday's stuff? I think this was one of the problems. Right? Long division. What is the trick that we must do? Step by step. How many times does 5 fit into 5? Well, in this case, it does. It fits in one time, right? Creating 5. You get a 0. You bring down the next number. And then 5 cannot go into 2. Because of that, we must say that. Yeah, you must say that. It doesn't fit, so you put it 0. But now what do you do next? You connect the next number, that 9. And then ask yourself, how many times does 5 fit into 29? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
Oh, 5.
Use them fingers, you guys. Use them fingers, right? When you subtract that, you get a leftover of 4. Bring down the next number, 3. And then ask yourself, how many times does 5 fit into 43? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. One more goes up to 45, which means I cannot use 9. It's 8. 45. I'm running out of space. What's the leftover? 2. We do not like that. A remainder of 2. So what must you do? There's a 2 there. What we have to do is create that decimal and create that 0. Bring it down and then ask ourselves, how many times does 5 fit into 20? To create, let me bring this over here. 20 exactly, right? With the remainder of 0, which is what we're always trying to get. So the trick with division is, if you have a remainder, if you ever have a remainder, create that decimal, create that 0, and then bring down that 0.
Can you put 45 instead of 40?
Oops, I did, didn't I?
Yeah, I was like,
Oh my gosh. Well, thanks for telling me that now.
I was just saying if I
40. So the remainder was 3. When we bring down, okay, how many times does 5 fit into 30? 6 to get an exact remainder of 0. All right, so perfect. At least we got our 0 at the end.
you're giving us the wrong answer.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I've had a really long day. Today in my morning class, the student, oh my gosh, just killed me. Like, we're talking about straight attitude. No, it's just whatever. I'm not going to get into that. Okay, so now all of these tricks, all of these operations, we've learned how to do the actual operation. Now, this is that special class in which everyone's taking the GED. How do you think the GED is going to throw this at you? Word problems. Word problems as simple as this right here. You ready for an example? What's a good example? How could I display it here? Must I write? Yes, I'll write it for you guys. Why not? The word problem is to cover a sofa. To cover a sofa, kneel. Where is it at? Needs 12 yards of fabric. Right? Are you guys following me so far? That costs, this is really bad. It's really tough to write. That costs $14 per yard. Per yard. Neil needs 3 sofas. Oh, wait, sorry.
3 something. He needs to cover.
No, that's still irrelevant.
He has to cover a sofa with 3 sofas.
The question is, how many yards does he need to cover 3 sofas? Whew, got through that. Really bad, but still. So, to cover a sofa, Neil needs 12 yards of fabric that costs $14 per yard. How many yards does he need to cover 3 sofa?
So what do you need? You add 36.
Yeah. So why did I write this out? So, I wrote this out for a couple of reasons. Students, when given word problems, they think, for some reason, that every number that's given is relevant to solve whatever the question is, right? In this specific case, this $14 per yard is not needed. What is the question asking?
12 yards.
The question is asking, how many yards does he need to cover 3 sofas? It never once mentioned anything about price. It never once mentioned it wants to know how much will he save if he, blah, 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 right? They just threw that $14 in it to throw you off. For some reason, it throws everyone off. Well, the only thing that's relevant is the fact that it takes 12 yards to cover 1 sofa, and you need 3 sofas. So given this word problem, how do you solve this? What's the operation that you must use? Multiplication, right? The 12 times 3. Creating 36 yards of fabric to cover, what is it? 3 sofas. So 36 yards. So in your guys' GED test, it's going to be a lot of word problems, right? And there's going to be a lot of numbers thrown at you. My tip for you guys is to always, always, always look at that last sentence of what it's asking. Okay? Of what it's asking. Always do a beeline straight to the last sentence.
Why do you need 3 sofas, though?
Because Neil is balling and he has 3 houses.
Those like
And he
the ones like someone goes to buy 36 watermelons. It's like, why?
why? That's why I have a was it this class that I said it? Don't ever ask why.
Yeah.
Did I already tell you guys this? Okay. Yeah, don't ever ask why. Okay. I had a really good oh, here it is. Good. I'm gonna say this one because I don't feel like writing it out again. So if you guys want to try to keep track, write out all the numbers and what they represent, go for it. To win a prize, to win a prize, Neil's daughter, even though I don't have one, has to sell 75 boxes of cookies in 3 days. You guys get that? So to win a prize, Neil's daughter has to sell 75 boxes of cookies in 3 days. If she sold 16 boxes on day 1 and 34 boxes on day 2, how many boxes would she need to sell on day 3 to win the prize? Whew. It's a lot, right? You guys want to hear it again? Okay. To win a prize, Neil's daughter, it says Sarah's daughter, but I always like replacing names with Neil.
You're too young now,
I know. To win a prize, Neil's daughter has to sell 75 boxes of cookie. 75 boxes equals my prize, right? Or her prize. 75 boxes of cookies in 3 days. So in order to win the prize, she must sell 75 boxes in 3 days. If she sold 16 boxes, on day 1, and 34 boxes on day 2, tell me, how much must she sell on day 3?
25.
To how many boxes does she need to sell on day 3 to get 75? Now, why are we going over this one, huh? Because obviously word problems are not as simple as the one before, in which all you had to do was get the 12 and get the 3 and multiply them to find your answer, 36 yards. Word problems are usually multi-step word problems, which is a combination of multiple operations. Am I right? So you are going to have to incorporate maybe sometimes adding or subtracting, which is finding the difference, and then multiplying that, or adding and then dividing that by whatever other number. It's a multi-step process. So let's look at this multi-step process. How can we solve for this one right there? Explain to me the operation. Not just the answer. What must you do first?
34 plus 16 is 50 plus 25 is 75.
So you did addition, and then you just guessed the 25 that would lead up to 75?
Well, if you think about it, like in quarters, it is 1 quarter.
Mm-hmm.
75.
Give me an operation that could use to solve that last missing piece. He said 34 and 16, right? 75 from 50, right? That's actually really important. So he added his total amounts for the 2 days that the cookies have been sold. The boxes of cookies have been sold, right? Creating what? 50, right? But you know you have a total of 75. How much do you need left to get 75? The operation in this specific case that's needed is the subtraction operation. You need to find the difference pretty much. What's 75 minus 50? 25. Right? So obviously some of you could probably just see the 50 and know 25 is left over. Like you said, the whole quarter trick, right? Money. But what's the operation? You guys, in today's practice problems, have to not just give me the answer, right? Yeah, I need the answer. But try to get in the habit of seeing how you could physically write everything out to get your answer. Actually incorporate what operations you are using and then get the answer. That is what's needed always to solve word problems. So, lesson of the day. Always read the question. What's my quick tip number 1? Read the question. You see, last quarter, every day I was giving them quick tips. These things called quick tips on, they're just little advices for your guys' GD test. Little advices. I don't know why I haven't incorporated this quarter. I really should, shouldn't I? I just forgot all of them. Do you? I wouldn't mind seeing that. And the number 1 quick tip that I started the quarter off with was always read the question. Right? Because for some reason that's why students get the wrong answer. Because it was saying how many boxes of cookies is not left. I don't know, right? The word not is important in that word problem. And students don't ever see those key words and they always get the wrong answer. So always read the question. Lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, watch out for the trickeries of irrelevant numbers that might be given in the word problem. It's there to just trip you up. You're just like, do I incorporate that $14 somehow? The 14, do I incorporate somehow? No. Don't fall for that trick. Lesson number 3, as tedious as it sounds, actually show what operations you're using, because it's helpful. Now, keep in mind I did not incorporate any quotients or sums or adding or differences and products in these word problems. Like I said, I don't think there's much of it in these worksheets today, but you will see a lot of that tomorrow. So, and in your guys' test. So yeah. Any questions on word problems? What was that?
No problem, but they give us another example.
And then it trips you up? Yeah. Not as long as you just do this exact same process. Yeah, I think there's some, no, you guys are good. You guys are good. Yeah, you guys are good. I think you guys are going to do good. Yes, you might have to do 3 operations in one word problem, right? Like in this example, if they were to ask, I can't really create a word problem at the top of my head, but keep in mind, in this word problem, all you had to do was use addition and subtraction, right? If they were to ask for something else, you're going to have to do another operation. So it's called multi-step word problems for a reason.
You can do it with just subtraction.
Yes. Yes, and even though it's just using subtraction in with that method, you're still using it multiple times, right? Kind of, sort of. But, okay. We're going to do our practice problems now. I think you guys are good. I think we covered it all.